Hi, this is Brad with Vintage Camper Rescue, and we are reintroducing to you Beverly, the 66 Shasta, one owner from Seattle. It was bought back in 66 by Beverly, and she owned this trailer from day one. We rescued it from her yard. It had been sitting in her front yard since about 1983, 1984, and we did a full frame up, down to the frame rebuild on this camper. We tried to rescue and restore as much of the original as we could, but I'm calling this a rebuild with a lot of vintage flavor to it. So let's walk right through what we did on this camper and enjoy the journey. So we put all new metal on this camper, but we were able to retain some of the original metal. So the metal below here and some of the metal in the back is the original metal. A little bit of personality, but mostly it was this pattern. I couldn't find this pattern anywhere from reproducer, so we were able to clean that up. All new edge rail on there, and the rock guard cleaned up really nice. So the rock guard is in perfect condition, no breaks, dents, or bends or anything. Held on by a secured latch, so when it's going down the road, it will not rattle at all. Two brand new tanks, new wheel in the front, and then the crank. This is an original Atwood crank. It's been serviced and works flawlessly. Original. I believe it's an Atwood hitch here. 2-inch ball. This is a 2-inch ball, 7-pin connector, and like our standard RV style connector, does have magnetic brakes on it. We're able to, all the windows were intact, so we have all the windows were clean, new screens on all of them, so the bugs will stay out. Got new LED lighting for the marker lights. This is a vent for the battery compartment. There's a deep cycle battery in there, so this is the air circulation vent for it. Standard household 120 plug-in. That is secured by two 15-amp breakers, square D breakers. This is the kitchen window, also a Jalou style window. Repopulated or remade wings, and those are like awesome, man. The vendor that made those is like perfect. Also got the water fill. This is a gravity water fill. So you fill it and water will run through the cracks here, and that is part of its design, but it is sealed on the inside, so it does not drip inside, but it does drip down here while being filled. That's just the style of this Valterra filter. Winter drain. So when you want to drain it for the winter, you can do that. And brand new lights in the back. We're able to actually restore. This has been cleaned up, and then it's got a poly coat on the outside of it, so instead of painting it black, we just poly coated it and it should be good to go. These are original eyebrows on this camper, so we cleaned all those up really nice. Stove vent, refrigerator vent that will have a powered fan on it, so to help move air from the intake up through the fridge. It's a two-way Dometic fridge, so there's your power plug in there. Tested in February, got down to temperature within just a few hours, and we maintained it on electric and propane for 3 days on each one, and it held temp. So kept the original badging, just cleaned all that up there, handle, cleaned it up, and put a poly coat on it. Brand new wheels, brand new Carlisle rim or tires. Cleaned up the rims, and then new moon caps. These are snap-on caps from Vintage Trailer Supply. Really kind of finishes it off. All the bearings were pulled, cleaned, repacked. All the suspension was serviced. The grease fittings were re-greased there, the Zerk fittings there. But all the suspension looks good to go. Refurbished the step. So it's your Shasta step there. So that's going to look awesome. I usually pull this out for shows and when I'm just kind of showing the trailer. But for day-to-day, you keep that, and I got one of these little steps here that I put in and out. That way you don't do wear and tear on the metal. Door, original door with an original handle, and it has a key. That's awesome, right? Polished up the original badge. Looks awesome. It does have a wind holder, so you can latch the door open when you're camping and keep from slamming shut. So it just pops in there, boom, there you go. The inside of the camper has a lot of salvaged or rescued items in it, but the walls, floor, ceiling, everything is all new wood. But when you walk in, you almost couldn't tell because so much of the original hardware was recovered. It does have LED switching. This is your porch light, main cabin light, and this is a spare, future spare setup there. Voltage meter. Everything in this camper does have an isolator in it, so this is a 12-volt isolation switch. So when you're in storage, you can just flip this to the opposition and it cuts off all the 12 volt. And so we're going to demonstrate. So I'm going to turn everything on. It should power up the propane detector, goes through its test cycle. GFCI protected first circuit in this camper. All the lighting in here is LED 12 volt, so it does get nice and bright in here when you need it to. And there's a cabin light there. That way you can switch it and not have to fumble around in the dark. Kitchen back here, lots of light in the kitchen as well. 4 burner stove, blue flame, so it's been all cleaned and tested. This does have a powered fan, so you know, as you know, when you cook in this thing, keep that fan going because it gets fumy pretty quick if you don't. Original hardware, so we're able to salvage this and polish them up. It looks so cool. Water pump sink, so this drains. It is on a switch, so you want to make sure the switch is on, and then you can run your water. So it runs through a pump setup. All this drains out to the bottom to a standard bayonet drain. Under sink storage, cabinets. Got 3 drawers and then a master drawer here. And we also include a fire extinguisher for the new owner to install where they like. This camper does have a toilet closet. So original wood, cleaned up, refinished it. The handle, refinished the handle on it, so it's a locking handle. But the toilet is just a Dometic 310. And it's super simple operation. It's got a little foot pedal. Halfway down, you can fill the water, just push it halfway and it fills with water. All the way down, it drains into a holding tank. There's an 8 or 10 gallon holding tank immediately underneath the toilet. So you fill that up and then you drain it when it's full. You don't leave the black tanks open because that can then create clogs in your black tank. So just leave it closed, and then when you're ready to empty that 8 or 10 gallons, you just pop it open and it empties. So with a working toilet, the water pump switch does need to be on for that toilet to work. I like to leave the switch off at night. That way if it does hunt for pressure during the night, it doesn't wake you up. Dinette table here. Perfect for playing cards on. And this giant window, so if you're out someplace nice, your view is hopefully nicer than my parking lot. Imagine an ocean, waves crashing, whatever. So nice big windows next to this dinette table. Lots of overhead storage. Standard 14-inch top vent, so you can pop that up and get some air circulation in here. Another top vent. All these windows open. All these cranks work. These are the cool airline style, I call them airplane wings. But they've all been cleaned, serviced, and lubed, so good to go. Storage shelf at the top here with a lip, so if you do have something up here, it's not going to just roll off. Carbon monoxide detector. It's a 10-year life battery, so once it does get to that point, it'll start doing its beep. It does run on a battery, so maybe the battery will last longer, I don't know. Under here, we have 3 compartments. First compartment is your utilities, you know, the shut-offs. The 12 volt is all fused 12 volt. Center compartment, which is nice and big. You can store lots of stuff in here. And this third compartment has no access from the outside. I call this my secret compartment. That's where I like to, you know, have people that you can store your valuables in there. So if someone does happen to get into a camper, they're not going to find this secret compartment very easily. Nice thing about this bed, it's a brand new gel foam mattress, 6 inches. Fairly comfortable, and I'd call it medium firm. And it's the approximate size is like a super twin. It's 40 inches by 80 or so. So, you know, twin stuff fits on here really nicely. I put full size stuff on here because it has a little bit extra fluff to it. Anyway, so it's 6-inch bed, brand new mattress. So to get underneath here, kind of designed it so it'd be simple to do with one person if you needed to. You just lift the mattress up, and then it's a 3-way panel. Just use that, and that'll hold the mattress out of the way. So if you have to get under there and flip a breaker, you can do that. You shouldn't pop any breakers unless you're running too much, like a space heater and a microwave or something. Who knows? But anyway, if you do pop a breaker, there's a coach and an outside circuit there, so you can reset there. Fused 12 volt, brand new deep cycle battery. And it does have a vent in there, and then it has also a trickle charge, so when it is plugged into power, it'll kind of constantly keep charging the battery. It's a smart charger, so once it reaches voltage, it just goes into maintenance mode. So you can leave it plugged in during the winter if you wanted to, or shut everything down and isolate the 12 volt by popping that switch. Here is the secret compartment I told you about. It's pretty big, but like I said, there's no access, and so someone to get in there, they'd have to lift up the bed and do all this stuff, and so it's kind of a cool feature that I like to include. This whole platform does lift up if you need to get the whole thing in there, but I made it this way so you could just flip up the mattress and access if you had to. All right, pop that back down. See, there's another leather loop there. So, all right, so that's kind of the inside shoe compartment. So we made a little spot for your shoes to go, which is very important. Because when you come in, you want to just toss your shoes and put them in there. Nice big vertical closet. This refrigerator has been serviced, and it's a domestic gas and electric. Super simple operation. All the instructions are here. I kind of leave it on the 4 setting because when I did all the testing, I left it on the 4 setting and held fine for 72 hours on each brand. Fuel selector, off, electric or gas. And I did put in a little thermometer so you can monitor your fridge if you're on the road. And it does have a freezer compartment. All right, well, those are pretty much the basic features of this camper. So it is ready to roll and ready to enjoy right now. So anyway, this was a very fun build. It was great to restore this 66 Shasta. We're gonna enjoy delivering this to its new home, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Hello@vintagecamperrescue.com. Thank you so much.